Hello, Lori, dear. It is I, Xanadu, with the Four Collectives, and we are very happy and pleased to be here once again, creating a video with you and Lucas. We would like to continue to talk about conscious channeling today. We would like to begin to explore some ways in which we can begin to conscious channel. And we know that we have been giving some step-by-steps in regards to how this channeling does indeed begin, though we would like to speak a little bit about how it feels when one is channeling. We would like you in particular, Lori, to talk about how it was for you when you began to channel. Okay. I was really surprised how easy it was and how accurate it was the first time. Now, after the first time, more self-doubt kind of crept in, and we were talked about from a different video how that was like every other day. Mm-hmm. It was like one day was fantastic. It felt like, I had a lot of, when I mean fantastic, for me what that is I had a lot of frequency of belief, as they would say. So I was happy and I wasn't worried and I wasn't criticizing anything myself, or I wasn't doubting. So the first day I had none of that. The first day I was just like crystal clear, very excited and just euphoric. So that's how that went. And it was not something I had to work hard at when it was happening. Yeah, so at the first it was word for word, and then it started to be more that I wouldn't, I would also get a feeling of what might be changing, like maybe a topic would be changing, I would get a feeling of that. And then I don't know how to explain it besides that I feel like what makes the most sense to me is when I've heard people talk about channeling is that you're translating information. And so at times I'm translating it word for word into words, and at times I'm kind of bypassing that, and I'm just speaking. And if I'm in a place where I'm in a lot of belief, I can just continue, and I'm not worried about the fact that I'm not hearing word for word. I just am in the zone, if that per se. But that took some time to get there.
Yeah, well, I guess my question was, before that first time you started channeling, like in the kind of that 6-month energy work lead up, did you ever have any like worries? Like you said, you kind of had an intuitive knowing that you were going to maybe start channeling at some point. But did you ever have any worries or any concerns that it wasn't ever going to happen? Like what kept you going during those 6 months of just meditation on a daily basis?
This is interesting, but I had heard somewhere, I can't remember where, that with Abraham Hicks, who I had been familiar with from like around 2006 or so, that she took 9 months of meditation to prepare before Abraham came through. And so I was prepared for 9 months because I was thinking that, and then it happened at about exactly 6 months. So, so that was in my head. I was thinking, okay, 9 months of this, and then something. And there were some days where I was frustrated. I was mainly frustrated because I was used to clairaudient hearing, and I wasn't. It was all physical for me, and there was some intuitive knowing towards the end, especially, but and it was just a lot of just. I wouldn't say wait. I guess it was waiting, but it was experiencing. So it was just like kind of relaxing, surrendering into the physical sensations of it, which I found very comforting. And so then when it happened, it was a surprise. I didn't know the day it happened. I was surprised. So it wasn't like, oh no, I knew, like, okay. It wasn't like I knew step for step it would be this day. It was like it just happened.
Yeah.
So it was spontaneous when it happened, and it was like nothing needed, like I was channeling. It was amazing. I was surprised at how it was just happening. So all that work clearly that they did on their side of things with all the technology worked very well. I remember them being very excited actually about it, that they were very happy, very happy. And yeah, they were very happy. And for the first week, first couple days for sure, they were just exuberant that we were connecting in that way and everything was working in that way. So thank you, Lori dear, for your, we want to say expertise in this, as we know you've only been channeling for what is now a few months. We would say that you have become efficient in knowing how to speak about it, and you have come through a lot of different exploration with us when we were creating the channel. So we feel that you are able to speak about it in a way that will indeed help our viewers. So we are thankful for that. There have been some questions from viewers, and we're excited to get those answered and back out to the viewers. So we'd like to do that in a few minutes. Though right before we do that, we would like to just reiterate what we are doing here with this mission, what we are doing with these conscious channeling videos, and how we are asking viewers to go about beginning to connect with us. So just to go back a little bit, we could say that all of us, meaning all of us here on this side, which it is I, Xanadu, along with the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Council of Nine, and the Council of Light, along with Lori and Lucas, we have had a mission which was to create a manner of conscious channeling that could be brought forth to others upon the planet Earth at this time. We specifically are doing it at this time and wanted to create it at this time, as this is the time when we felt humanity could most use what we have to say and would be ready to speak with us and would want to speak with us. We know that this conscious channeling is not for everyone, and we know that if conscious channeling may be for some, it may be that some will just enjoy the conversation we have with each other telepathically. And for others, they might enjoy the actual conscious channeling where one is speaking the words that one is hearing telepathically. So, and others may like to use both, as Lori dear does here. So it is something that each of you need to discern. Conscious channeling is in no way a necessity for ascension. We want to be very clear about that. It is only a way for some who would like to connect with us at this time. It is a way for them to do so. You can ask us questions of any sort, and we can answer if we are able to. In whatever way we're able to, we will answer you. We know that Lori dear has found this extremely helpful, just to be able to ask us many questions about many things, and it doesn't only have to be about spiritual topics. And she is now asking us many questions throughout the day, and we're having small conversations here and there. So that is an option for some of you. For others, you'd like also to channel, and the only significant difference is that you will be voicing what you are hearing, and that channeling will be for yourself and possibly for others. Now, it does not have to be for others, or it could be just for a few others. We're not thinking that we're bringing out this conscious channeling so that all of you can do what Lori dear is doing here and put videos up on YouTube. That is not what we're thinking. We are thinking and hoping and desiring that this way of communicating with humanity will be a way to connect with us so that you can begin to have a relationship with us, so that in this time of ascension you can have more of a sense of peace. You can have more of your questions answered. You can have a connection to us and understanding what it is to relate to us and understanding how to relate to us. Telepathy will be something in the future that those who do choose to ascend, as ascension is always a choice, those who do choose to ascend, and all will ascend in their own timing, when they do ascend to the 5-dimensional Earth, there indeed will be telepathy. There'll be other options, vocal speaking as well, but telepathy will be something that most humans will begin to experience and begin to get more comfortable with. So this again is a way for humanity to begin to become more comfortable with this idea of telepathy. And it is also a way to speak with us, to connect with us, to, in a very real way, get direct answers from us. We would like to speak about a few ways in which Lori Deer has used our connection in the last few weeks in order to get information that was very helpful for her. Lori Deer, would you mind speaking about how this communication helped with your own little furry creature in your home? Yes, I can do that. So about a week and a half ago, we noticed on one of our dogs just suddenly that he had a large abrasion and inflammation in his eye, which was, a little shocking.
Yeah.
And so right away we wanted to take him to the vet, but we looked at the time, it was exactly like 6:03 or something, and our vet closes at 6. So we were both a little bit panicked, only because we didn't know what to do, and we thought, well, we could bring him to the emergency vet, but we weren't sure if we should do that, or if we could wait till the morning for our local vet. So we weren't sure what to do, and then all of a sudden I thought, oh, I can ask the collective. And then it was funny because you were in a different room, and you said that you mentioned it. You said, Lori, why don't you ask the collective? And I just kind of laughed at that point. I thought, okay. So I did, and they were very quick with a response and said that it was not cancer, it was not a tumor, and it was a eye injury, and it was not an ulcer, and and then it could wait till morning to go. And I was like, oh, that was so helpful. I mean, it was very, very, very helpful to have that information.
Yeah.
It was like more than just helpful, it was like extremely helpful. So we just calmed down and progressed with the evening, and then in the next day went to the vet. And that was interesting because I was very interested to see what they would say. And it was confirmed what they said, because the vet said that it indeed was not cancer, it was not a tumor, it was not an ulcer, it was inflammation caused by an eye injury. And it would heal, though they gave us some medications to help with that. So it was like, this is awesome. So I was very excited about that.
Yeah, it was incredibly useful.
Very
information with our, pertinent to our daily lives.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Lori Deer, for sharing that information with our viewers, as we feel that will be very helpful to them to know that this telepathic connection that we have is not only viable or helpful in more spiritual ideas, let's say, but it's very practical and can be used for very practical information as well. We would like to next go into a few of the questions that have been brought forth through the website, Xanadu.com, that Lucas has set up. So Lucas, can you go ahead?
All right, so I'm going to do my best to ask some of the questions that you've been asking, either in the YouTube comments or just in the questions directly from the website. And we might even try to just answer a few questions after every video. So we probably aren't going to get through all of them today. So we're just going to see where we get to with this. My question is about a book I have discovered, channeled by Paul Selig from a collective known as the Guides. Do you know or have contact with his guides? Are they part of any of the councils?
We indeed know who Paul Selig is, and we know his guides. And we are very thankful for the information they are bringing forth. We, however, are not within his guides, if we can say it that way.
Okay, next question. This person asks, or says, I set my intentions last night, and I asked you, Xanadu, and the collectives to start preparing to communicate with me. My question is, did you get my message? And will you take me up on my offer?
Thank you for the question. We would like to say that when one brings forth an intention to speak to us, we always hear that intention It is not something that we have to put our ear out and really look to hear. It is something that is easy to hear for us. It is something that we are attuned to. So when one brings forth their intention to begin communication with us, we will hear it, and we will begin working with you. Now, as far as when you are in a quiet place and you are meditating, to begin to do that daily with us, it is always good to, when you begin to go into that place and you begin to focus inside of yourself and you get yourself quiet and you get yourself comfortable, that you do set an intention of who it is you'd like to be working with. So we would say that when you begin meditating, it is good to set your intention. And then it is, all you need to do then is to relax and to just keep your focus. It doesn't have to be we're not asking you to work at this as if it's a very difficult challenge to keep focus. We're just asking you to try to keep your focus, keep yourselves in a light focus towards what we are working on. And it helps, at least we know it helps with lower deer, when you could focus on the sensations that would be happening within your body. Although we do want to say that some people may not feel any sensations, and often some days you will feel none, and some days you'll feel some. So we're hoping that when you begin the process of connecting with us, that you begin to surrender to the opportunity, and in that there will be an unknowing. You won't really know what will be happening to you at those moments. It will be something that you'll be going into, and if you can relax into that, and each day will be different. If you are feeling like you need some confirmation, then please ask for it, and we will do something, we hope, and it will be different for each person, but we'll do some kind of confirmation that will hopefully make you feel like we are there with you.
So kind of another question kind of along that same line of starting to channel. This person asks, what if I make the intention to channel but don't spend enough time resting for them to work on your body energetically? Like, let's say I only meditated 15 minutes for 3 to 4 days a week.
Thank you for a question. This is a very good question, and we would like to say that this experience is going to be different for every person that comes forth with wanting to connect with us and wanting to begin this process with us. So we will work with whatever you're able to work with us in. So what we're saying that is, if you can only do it a few times a week for like 15 minutes at a time, we will work with that. Although it may be that the time needed to do what we need to do may take a little bit longer. So as long as you're willing to keep on doing what you're doing, we will continue to work with you. We would like to say, though, that when one is not able to consistently be able to connect with us daily, there is a much higher chance that that connection will lessen from your perspective. What we mean is, when one comes forward, let's say, and they want to connect with us and they have a commitment, if that commitment starts to loosen, let's say they say, okay, we're going to meet for 1 hour 6 days a week. Let's say they can't do an hour, they'll do 45 minutes or half an hour, whatever they can do. Now that's a great commitment, and it's better to have that commitment up front and know what your schedule is, know what you can do, rather than you start the commitment and then you start having to loosen up. What that's going to do for your own state of belief is unravel your belief a little bit. That's a way to say it. You will begin to think, oh, might not be really happening. Oh, I haven't been doing this like I said, so it might not be happening. So all these disbelief will come forward, and that is probably the most challenging thing about this process, is to remain in, as much as possible, a state of belief. We would like to say that the difficulty often arises when self-doubt comes in and creeps in, and then you'll find yourself possibly doing less and less and then kind of just dropping off. So we would just like to say that it is better to know what your limitations are in the beginning and then kind of make your arrangements from there forward. It is not difficult for us to meet with you in different times a day. So let's say you make a commitment to do an hour a day, 45 minutes a day. If that needs to change to be different times in the day, that is not an issue. So it's more about if you can begin with the intention when you're starting to say, okay, what really kind of think within yourself, what can I do realistically, and then go forward with that and try to be committed to that. So that way you will have less self-doubt, which can be sabotaging. If it works well for one person to do 15 minutes daily and another to do 1 hour twice a week, we say as long as that feels good with you and you are strong in that commitment, then go forward with that. It is most important that you make a commitment to us and then allow that to happen. When we're talking about self-doubt, sabotaging, that usually comes in when you're not able to fulfill the commitment. And then if you're not able to fill the commitment, you will then be questioning, well, is this working? You know, on and on and on, if that makes any sense.
Sure. All right, and one follow-up to that from the same person is, what happens if you fall asleep during meditation? Does sleep affect the process?
Thank you for your question. Sleep in no way will affect the process. It is not a negative thing when one falls asleep during meditation when we are working with them. In fact, it may help in some ways. Though we would like to say if you are sleeping continually every time and throughout the process you are meditating, that may be another issue where self-doubt can creep in, as you will not be able to feel or listen or focus your energy towards us, and then you will not be able to feel our response back to you. And some days you will feel that response more than others. Some days you will just feel rested, not necessarily sleeping, but rested, and some days you will feel some energy. So we feel that it is best to come rested into the state when you want to meet with us, though if you fall asleep, it is not a problem. And often it can be a positive in those moments, as it just means you're more fully receptive to us in your more unconscious sleep state.
Another question. Do any members of the collective groups that Xanadu is channeling serve as guides for humans?
Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, many of us do serve in many capacities towards humanity and for many other beings on different planets. So we are active in many ways. So in our collectives, we are operating in this mission right now, though there are other parts of ourselves that can be doing other things at the same time. It is not difficult for us to focus on, I'm going to say, more than one thing, but it's more like many things at once. So we have an availability of energy that can focus in various places. So your question as to whether some of us are guides to humanity is without a doubt a very strong yes. We often many of us are often acting as guides to many upon the planet.
Okay, another question. Will creating a channel with you allow me to communicate with other high dimensional beings or ascended masters?
Yes, thank you for this very good question. It may have a surprising answer to some of you, that when you are intentioning to communicate with all of us, meaning Xanadu, myself, and the Four Collectives, that when you are intentioning to do that and you are intentioning to use the method of the conscious channel that we have created, that who you will be communicating may be some of us, or it may be some of our friends. With those of you who are intentioning, we want to be clear that there will be a few of us on this side that will be communicating with you. So most likely there will be more than one, probably 2 or 3 different beings that will be communicating with each of you, and they will be using this manner of channeling.
Okay. I have another question here. So this one says, a few days ago, 2 dragons appeared to me in my third eye, one black and one white. I asked them their names, and they said Cletus and Ashmere. I'm struggling with if I created this or if these are my contacts. Thank you for your guidance.
Thank you for the question. We would like to say that we are very pleased that you are using your third eye and able to use what you would call your imagination. We would like to say that it is important for you to, as much as possible, believe what you are seeing, and that these 2 beings are indeed working with you with the best of intentions. We would also like you to know that these 2 beings are not part of our group, though they are other beings that would like to work with you. So we would say, please listen to your imagination, if you like to call it that way. Imagination is indeed the composition of the universe, and so we would always say to when you are able to use your imagination, it is a good thing.
This person asks, I sometimes enjoy watching relaxing YouTube videos that make me very relaxed. Is that something that would be a good idea when I'm trying to meditate? Or does the added external stimuli make it harder for you to work on my body?
When you are listening to various things and you are enjoying them, you are using different parts of your mind and your brain, and you are also using different parts of your heart and your being because you're interacting with it. So we would say that is not a good option for wanting to connect with us and wanting for us to be able to work with you in a way that would be helpful. So we would say if you can shut down whatever you have going on electronically would be the best option, and to find a quiet space. And that may be a bit challenging for some of you in the beginning, but remember, we are not asking you to do any specific form of meditation. We're asking you to just gather yourself into your heart and calm your mind as much as possible, and don't worry about what's coming through your mind. Just try to, when you are aware that you may be finding some stimulus that is not helpful for yourself, just a way to calm that down is to just focus on your heart, focus on what you're feeling, and we hope that would be the most beneficial.
All right. So another question here. It says, I've been meditating every day, sometimes twice a day, and set my intention each time. I haven't felt anything different. How will I know if they aren't even getting my message or just aren't going to work with me? I know it's only been a little over a week, but I was so excited and now wonder if I'm just not someone who will have this gift.
Okay, excellent question. And this goes back to another question we answered previously, which is really, this is about frequency of belief here. And when you are able to decide what is the best manner, the most manner meaning where you would like to focus your energy towards us. You could call that meditation. You could call that just bringing yourself together in words. Where you would like to do that, how you like to do that, and when you like to do that. Then we would just say to give yourself some time before you are trying to analyze it. If it may be better for us to say, maybe give yourself a month commitment of doing that before you start to analyze it, and just let yourself go within that month. And the most optimum way of connecting to us and so we can work with you is just gathering yourself inwards, and then just kind of resting there. And so what we would hope is that you be able to let go of anxiety and let go of analysis of what is happening or could be happening or when or what. It should just come in and rest. Now, we're not saying sleep necessarily. If it happens, it's okay, but we're saying rest, and rest your mind and just enjoy that time. For some of you, you may not feel anything. For others, you may. Now, I know that's tricky to say, and that can be frustrating for you to hear. But perhaps if we say, let's say, do it for a month, and then see where you are at the end of that month, and up until that month, try not to analyze or criticize or judge, and just let it be. Just give yourself that commitment, and let's see where you are at that end of that month.
Very good.
Is that good?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you, Lori, just on behalf of everybody, just to kind of put this time and energy into answering the questions. I know it's like kind of difficult.
It's
to
new
answer
for
somebody
me.
else's
It's
questions.
new. It's new. So it's and everybody this is new for everybody. What the collectives are asking them, what they're inviting them to do with the conscious channeling. It's new for everybody, but this is like a new process for me, and so it takes it doesn't always it's not always how do I say? It's not always easy. I shouldn't say that. I feel like I shouldn't be saying that. But what I mean by that is, so when I'm doing these questions and answers, I feel a bit like I wasn't really sure how that was going to happen. And so my nerves start going up. And then I can't hear what they're saying because I'm starting to have all this energy go on. And so it's important, I'm learning, it's important for me to just really be calm and listen until I hear it, and then so I'm learning. What I'm trying to say is I'm learning in this process.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for all of those viewers that are interested in taking this step, because I know it's, I don't want to say it's strange, but it kind of is strange. Maybe some people won't think it's strange, but it's kind of strange.
Sure.
Though I think it's really amazing. So I hope everybody gives it some time. I like what they said about the month thing. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
To like not analyze it and like don't let yourself do that for a month, and then to see where you are at the end of that month. I think that's a beautiful thing. The thing is that excuse me, we all need to bring ourselves to a place where we're relaxed and we're resting and we're not using our own energy and our own gotta know, or am I doing, or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I hope these have been helpful.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so too. So hopefully you found it helpful, and you can send us more questions. The email address is questions@helloxanadu.com. And you can also use that if you just want to give us feedback. So let's say you have started to meditate, and if you have anything you want to tell us or share with us, that's a good channel for now. We'll look to see if there's any other way we can kind of set up additional communication back and forth. But for now, we can just use that email or just YouTube comments.
Mm-hmm. That would be awesome to hear what people are experiencing.
Yeah.
Not only questions, but what you're experiencing would be wonderful. I don't think for Lucas and I to hear, but it'd be very exciting, I think.
Yeah.
For viewers to hear, we could maybe share some of that too.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll ask you if you're willing to share it with others, if you do send that to us.
Anonymously,
yeah. Yeah. So until next time, we'll see you guys sometime soon.
Sounds good. We have to do it.
All right.